Parshat Shemini lists the animals that are permitted to eat and those animals that are forbidden to eat. Likewise, the fish that are permitted and the fish that are not permitted. The birds and even insects that are, some insects are kosher, certain locusts. And nowhere does the Torah provide any reason for why these particular species are forbidden and why these species are permitted. And Rashi often writes in his commentary that the definition of a chok is a type of a mitzvah, translated as a statute. The definition of a chok is a mitzvah that there is no reason, doesn't appear to be a reason, and that one's yetzer hara, one's evil inclination goads you and says, why can't you do it? What reason is there? And the nations of the world goad the Jewish people, give them a hard time and say, there's nothing wrong with doing it, go ahead and do it. Because it doesn't seem to make logical sense, or there's no reason for it. And indeed, the Torah doesn't offer a reason. Nevertheless, we see that the great commentators, including the Rambam in his book More in Nevuchim Guide to the Perplexed, or the very famous classic work Sefer HaChinuch, written anonymously by Levi in Barcelona, which is on the 613 mitzvot, and closer to our time, Rabbi Hirsch, who lived in the 19th century in Germany, all of them give reasons for the mitzvot. Not only those mitzvot which are more obvious, like don't kill, and don't commit adultery, and don't steal, and the mitzvahs of loving your neighbor and doing charity, which make logical sense, but they even give reasons for these mitzvot, these chukim, which the Torah itself did not give a reason for. So, for example, the vishat shatnez, that we're not allowed to have wool and linen together in the same garment. We're not allowed to mix milk and meat. The commentators will give reasons for this. And it's fascinating that these reasons are referred to in Hebrew as ta'amim, ta'amei ha-mitzvot, the reasons for the mitzvot. But the literal meaning of the word ta'am is a taste. It's a taste. And Rav Mordechai Gift of blessed memory, the Rosh Hashiva of Telz, used to explain that the mitzvah itself is like food. It's like the part of the food that's nourishing, that gives you nourishment, that sustains you. But it's hard for human beings just to eat food that's tasteless. There has to be spice. There has to be something that you add to it. It doesn't add to the nutritional value, but it makes it more appealing. That's the taste. So we have the mitzvah, and the mitzvah stands by itself. But in order to make it palatable to a human being, we have to have a reason. And these are the reasons that are offered by these great commentators. Now, one must be very cautious in acknowledging that although they offer reasons, this is not necessarily the reason. And one cannot use their reasons to in any way misconstrue or change the mitzvah. So let's say, for example, somebody a few hundred years ago came along and said, the reason we can't have pork is because pork was very susceptible to tapeworm. Measly pork, people used to get tapeworm. It's not healthy. But if you say that that's the reason, then what about with modern standards of hygiene in which there will be no risk of tapeworm? Does that mean that we can now eat pork? Absolutely not. The Torah is categoric. We cannot eat pork whatsoever. And it doesn't give a reason. And therefore, it doesn't matter what changes in society. The reasons that are given by these great sages is just for us to make it more palatable. They are either rational reasons, or they are mystical reasons, or they are ethical reasons, and they come to teach us certain values and lessons, but not in any way to interfere with the mitzvah. This is an important principle that we have to keep in mind, that a chok is a chok, it's a statute. Hashem wants us to keep it regardless, and that the reasons offered are merely a time, a wonderful taste to make it more palatable. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.